over the past several decades, not everything's gotten better, and not everything's noticeably better. And even if you're in my age bracket, in Gen X time frame, you had great dreams and hopes for what the future was going to look like. And all it seems that we've got is high-speed internet and cell phones. So I want to go back and not just focus on all the negatives, because there's lots of channels that do that already. And, go and get your dose of the black pill and wake up and go, wow, this is really hard stuff. But you can decide really what your future is going to be like. So I dug back into some of the archives of what were really my childhood television shows or motivational ideas that I saw and learned about. They kind of rattled around in my head even decades later. So I wanted to share some of those with you today, just to give you an idea of how different things are and how even the most kind of silliest idea from the past was imbued with a certain set of encouragement and motivation and hope. So, without further ado, pull up my first video here. What we're going to do is just watch a series of videos. I'll comment on them. They're not going to be controversial, more or less. I wanted you to think about how these kinds of messages that are embedded in these videos obviously have one purpose. One is to, sell you a lifestyle, we could say, but also to pique the curiosity and interest of young people, especially boys in these cases, but young people all around, to really achieve at levels that they might not otherwise be told they can achieve at. So let's start her out here. And if you can figure out do a test yourself, see if you can figure out what the video is about and who produced it and why before the end of it. These are all just like little half-minute clips, so we'll go through a few of them, and I'll leave you with another little idea at the end, and then we'll wrap it up.
I wasn't born to sit behind a desk. In fact, I wasn't born to sit at all. I was born to take action, to seize opportunities. I was born to use my strength and intelligence to protect my country.
I'll kind of give it away there with protecting your country.
Right where it matters most. America's doorstep. I was born ready.
All right, look at this. Born ready. That was the slogan for this Coast Guard recruitment advertisement. The 80s and 90s were full of these recruitment advertisements. I know they're still kicking around out there decades later as well. You can get these on my playlist on the channel called Military Recruitment Video Playlist. Check that out. They're so you can go back to the source and give those guys some love that have stored these historic videos and played them back for us. So at this point, think about it. Born ready, living a life of kind of, he's out in nature. He's looking around to keep things safe, for his country and his community. He's physically fit. He's able. He's aware of what's going on around him. Or he could sit in an office and stare at a computer screen. So we know modern kind of hopeful messages are often just tied up in how much money you can earn or how much glory you can receive. But there's so much more when you just look at it about your own ability to achieve. And really, with a little bit of work, you can achieve great things and really be ready for the next adventure that's at hand. Now let's go back and we'll throw back to an even kind of older video that some will think it is like really cheesy. But it kind of does capture the mood of the 1980s and the idea of really seeing things around you moving forward and moving fast and hoping that you'll be able to come along for the ride. All right.
It's a great country. Protecting it is a great way of life. The United States Air Force. Find out how you can
All
be
right.
Aim high. Air Force.
So look, I'm a Canadian. I grew up watching these advertisements on television. I even knew the term aim high, and I'd swear, I don't know what jet fighter this specific model is. Somebody will leave a note in the chat and let me know. But I'd swear we had posters like this on our wall, like in our bedrooms. If you didn't have some pop star or musician, you probably had Army or Air Force posters on your wall because it was cool. Imagine flying a jet around. There was lots of movies just coming out about fighter jets and pilots and things like that, and great military stories. But in this case, the Aim High was the slogan and the recruitment slogan for the Air Force at this time. And I found it interesting because really the video, it doesn't just show the high tech, but it shows, look, here's what the Air Force in this particular case, here's what they're protecting: small town America. Girls sleeping in. What else we got here? Oh yeah, mom probably out. The milkman, the good old days. I mean, it's even for the 80s, it was a throwback, so it's kind of funny. But it's, a picture of what the idyllic kind of American dream looked like. Big open spaces, beautiful green grass and animals, and just a kind of normal life. And really, that's kind of the inspiration was, hey, aim high. You can do great things from this normal life into flying through the sky in a jet fighter. And you can do it for a purpose. I mean, that might be the most controversial thing about today's video is just, the military. Oh my gosh. Well, put that aside. Just think about the motivation there. Aim high. Aim high was a slogan I grew up really kind of deep in my mind. And really just meant don't just try to get along or try to go along with what you can do easily, but push the limits of your abilities. Find out where those upper boundaries are. And I think that's as apt a message for today as ever, when we've kind of been fed a slop of mediocrity and pop stars and television movie personalities that just, they're supposed to impress us, but what can we do except worship them or give them our money or whatever floats your boat. But actually, instead, I think the kids, we can tell them and move them forward and say, hey, look, you can do so much. Don't let anyone stand in your way. Let's do one more here.
Approaching landing zone. Prepare to land.
Let's move! Got a connection to make.
Give the Army Signal Corps 30 minutes and they can turn a mountaintop into a satellite communication station. Qualify for training like this, and you'll learn to work with some of the most exciting high-tech electronics around.
Roger, Bravo 2-6, loud and clear.
We got him! Right. All that you can did well. We're well connected, Sergeant. Find your future in the Army.
So again, be all you can be. Who can argue with that? And who else is telling you that? Used to be in grade school and even in high school a bit. We were told, you can be whatever you want to be, and not in some hairy-fairy way, like you just make up stuff and imagine it, but really to push yourself. Anybody that you see doing things has worked hard to get there, and you can get there too. And you don't know where your limits are until you've really tried them, and you really can do amazing things. This example here, they got into a little bit of the technology side of things, and all of these military recruitment videos too. I got a few more I'll show in another video. Really touch on that idea of getting the education and training that you need to be able to do high-tech things, push your body and your limits, work with teams, develop skills that maybe are just hidden away or latent or nobody else cares about. When was the last time, let's say, a leader in your life pushed you to be better, pushed you to eat better, be more physically fit? Think ahead 5 steps instead of just 1 step, or not just living, paycheck to paycheck, but finding ways to save and move forward in a way that sets you up for the next 20 years. So, just to give you the idea of some motivational figures that we saw back then. And to kind of close with a bit of a fun one, let's hear a word from televisions, from the 80s and 90s television. Everybody's great uncle, Mr. T.
Name is Mr. T. First name is Mr. Middle name is that period. Last name is T. Listen and listen good. I'm talking to you. When a new kid moves in on your block, what's your attitude? Do you figure, what do we need him for? Well, I pity the fool that makes that mistake. The friends you already got might not be all the friends you ever need. And when you keep new people out, just because they're new to you, you're only cheating yourself.
Yeah.
So don't you ever write nobody off just because he's the new kid on the block. You never know what you might be missing till you get to know them. So take it from me, Mr. T.
So these are, some of the heroes from today's past, obviously actors, but they're doing these public service announcements. It's, look, I'm tough, I'm cool, I know my stuff, and you've seen me in shows and movies. And listen up. Contrast that with some of the ideas and some of the examples that are out there in media today. But don't spend too much time looking at that. Instead, look ahead. Think about what you can do as a good person to others, getting to know them, and yourself, pushing yourself to your limits. That's where I'm going to leave it for today. All right. Hopefully you'll come back and leave some comments, and we'll get going on some more of these videos. All right. Omni out.